Welcome to Seat Time, everybody, the off-road show that brings you all the results, news, and online shenanigans that make being online a good time. We'd like to say thank you to Fly Racing for their support of Seat Time. Please go check them out at flyracing.com. Welcome to Seat Time, everybody. Brian Pierce here, bringing you another fun-filled episode of Seat Time so that you guys can have a little bit more of an enjoyable Tuesday evening. As always, we are in Texas. As you can tell, this set would be way too heavy to move to any other state, let alone even to another damn room. So, for those of you who have absolutely no idea what Seat Time is the online show for the off-road enthusiast. We're the beer-drinking, binge-racing show that just talks about the wicked world of off-road dirt bikes and having a good time. So you guys can find Seat Time if this is your first time tuning in. You can find us all over the place. We have a website at seattime.co if you're watching live. Obviously, you've already figured that out. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram, all that kinds of fun stuff. Good thing, though, is we as well post this after the fact, so we will archive this on the site. And we're going to have it on Stitcher and iTunes. So if you guys do listen to podcasts while you're driving to work, at work, or just, hanging out while you pretend to be listening to your significant other, you can find us on Stitcher and iTunes. But search for Seat Time as 2 words, not one. And as well, a Pint Full of Awesome will probably show up in the show description because, as always, I would love to say that this is just a straight glass of vodka, but not this evening, not this Tuesday. This Tuesday is a little different. We'll talk about that later. So obviously, big thanks to all of our sponsors for being supporters of Seat Time. Of course, Fly Racing, as you see there in the intro, they have been our biggest supporter, continue to be our biggest supporter, and we have another great Pint Full of Awesome award to give away a little bit later in the show. You know how we do it between guests. That's the way we roll. And of course, for this evening, we would like to thank Fast Company, the guys over at Fast Company there in Washington, Utah. Great products like the Flex handlebars and the Torx sprocket wrench. Can't ride without those things nowadays. So I'm glad that I've been introduced not only to the company and the people that work there, but as well their products. You can't ride without them, and you don't want to not have friends without them. So check them out at fastco.com. Great dudes over there. Last bit of house cleaning is, I don't know if you guys noticed, we did a lot of talking about the tank tops. So keep calm and brap on tank tops. You literally have 2 more days to purchase them. We need to sell 10 more so that the order can go through. We're literally trying to do this just to help pay back the credit card a little bit for the funds that it kind of took to build this. So if you guys think that this is makes the show a little bit better, $18 plus shipping and handling. It's teespring.com/seattime-brap. Now, that's not on the screen, and I'm not going to spell it for you, but you can go to our Facebook page. It's there, and you can click on that link and purchase that, and we would be extremely grateful if you wouldn't mind supporting the show. What I'm excited about with these tank tops is it's going to be perfect for your suns out, guns out selfie later this summer. Can't you tell? I'm really buff, and I think it's going to be a fantastic time when I wear it, and everybody else doesn't because they missed out on it. So that, as we like to say, is all the house cleaning to get the show started. And then from there, we're going to bring our first guest on for the evening for episode 118. It is Mr. Robby Marshall. I've heard a lot about this guy, seen some cool pictures, tons of cool video. The dude's rocking 2-strokes wherever 2-strokes can be rocked, even when they shouldn't be, quote unquote, because bitches be hating. But this guy's pretty badass, so I have to ask, Mr. Marshall, how is your evening going, kind sir?
Good. We're just over here on the East Coast, winding down. We're getting prepped for the upcoming 2 weeks, Daytona. We call it Daytona up north, That's where we get tuned for the week, have some fun. And we're actually leaving Saturday, so just taking it easy for a few nights and getting stuff together.
Dig it, man, dig it. Well, one of the things that I've heard you called of is the Marshall. Now, obviously, your last name is Marshall, and it's like we had a Josh Demuth. He's called the Sheriff. What does that nickname mean? Does it mean anything? Is it just kind of random? Is there any kind of a backstory on that?
Not really. I mean, most of the time these days, people call me Uncle Marshall because I'm like everybody's uncle. All my buddies, they try to help them out. But yeah, I don't know. One day they were just, they don't say the Marshall, they say the Marshall, and that's where they are, all boys up north. And yeah, I mean, they just kind of started calling me it one day, just the Marshall, and then it stuck with me. I think the midget Jimmy D started the whole thing.
It's funny that you call him the midget because he is ridiculously short.
Yeah, and he goes ridiculously fast for how short he is.
Yeah, you're right. It's kind of interesting. He's been doing it was cool to see him. He was on the 450 for a couple of the West Coast Supercrosses, and now he's on the 250s for the East Coast. I mean, obviously you guys are good friends with him now that we mentioned him. Do you think he's riding to his potential? What do you think he's, how his Supercross is going?
Yeah, I mean, he did it as on point as you could do it. He worked so hard in the off season, months and months of him training and traveling around and doing what he needed to do, and got on the 450. And I mean, he's doing this whole thing on his own. He's building his own sponsors, building his own program, and he's got good people behind him, and he's doing it all, all on his own. And he got some experience with the 450, and then he's out there in the lights class. And I think you're gonna see some podiums out of him before the season's out. But I mean, I can say from experience, it's next to impossible to go out there. And I don't care if you got a $50,000 budget out of your own pocket. A team is a team, and it comes with the whole program. And running against those guys it really is next to impossible. And I mean, he's out there going for it, and it can be done. Everyone wears pants, and I definitely think it's only a matter of time. But I hate to see it, because I mean, he's a really good Supercross rider, and I would think after the few years he's had with Supercross that he'd at least get some sort of a deal. But all he can do is keep trying his best and keep hammering out there, and hopefully something comes of it.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah, I've had a great time watching the Supercross this year. It's been much more exciting. Of course, when was it Jamie Rutley and Amy Hood kind of came on the scene last year, everybody was like, "Holy crap! Why do I have an erection?" Oh, right, because they're extremely hot. And then you see Jimmy Dakotas hanging out with Jamie Rutley, and I was like, "Oh, well, I was like, that man is living a lot of men's dreams right now." So it's
yeah, he's definitely works hard, and he does the best he can with what's in front of him, just kind of like we all do. And he got the girl thing. It was funny because he hasn't had a girlfriend since he was like 16 or 15 or something, and all of a sudden he just went soft out of nowhere. Like seen him one day and he was completely fine, Jimmy, crazy, and then a month later I seen him and he's all like cuddled up on the couch over there, and I'm like, whoa, dude, what you got going on? Like, oh yeah, I'm soft, man. I'm soft. So it's good to see. We all go through it, and they're really happy together. So you just can't help but be happy for them.
Oh, for sure, especially when it's your friends. I just like it because the pictures are awesome. Keep them going.
Yeah, we say it was Amy and Jamie Moto Adventures. Now it's Jimmy and Jamie Moto Adventures.
I wish we could get some bedroom adventures. Those are the videos and pictures that I want to see. But unfortunately, that's the other show we do Thursday nights. You guys come back and we'll have everybody on for that. So it'll be a good time. So what the hell is going on with your 2014? I know that I haven't really seen you at too many JDays racing. But I also know that you've got the Ram track, so you started a new business. So, dive into any of that kind of stuff where you want. But yeah, tell us a little bit about what's been going on with the Marshall as of late.
Yeah, I kind of started my own deal a few years ago with the track building thing, and it was just kind of on the side, being a professional motocross racer, you make 10 grand one week and then you don't make any money for 2 months and pay out your ass nonstop. So it's like, I had to kind of find something else I could do to support my life. And, I've always run machines and taken care of a track we have up in Mass, Crow Hill. And, I built a couple down here for some friends, and, I realized, man, I love this. It's something I like to do, and I really enjoy it, and I seem to be good at it. So I kind of went down that venue, started my own deal, and it's going good. It's growing, and I just kind of try to keep it affordable as I can for the customers. You know what I mean? It's like when somebody wants a track, and I build a $5,000-$10,000 track for a couple grand for them, they can afford it. No one can afford if it's gonna be $6,000, they'd rather buy a brand new bike and go to the track and pay $20 up the street. So I try to keep the cost down the most I can, and obviously make it worth it for me and them, and get them a good track set up. But it's like I said, it's going good. Been growing a lot more. I just launched my website, and it actually took off a lot since I've done that.
Cool.
So doing that a little bit, and then As far as the racing goes, I'm actually I'm going to Loretta Lynn's again this year. Be my 25 plus class, going for the title in the first plus class for me. So I'm pretty excited about that. And you know, it's crazy with the industry. I mean, I've gotten a few top fives in some nationals, and I mean, it's cool on that day, but after that, nobody really cares. You know, they pat you on the back and you get your $700 paycheck from MX Sports, whatever it is, and you're like, wow, that was brutal. Like, I just got fourth place at a national and I made $700.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm going back to the amateur stuff, and it's it seems to be good. You know, a lot of the sponsors I'm riding for are excited about it, and try to work with the kids as much as I can, and it's good. You know, they all go to Loretta's and stuff, and it really opened my eyes. I went down to Mini O's this year just to help out a couple kids I was working with, and you know, it's really the roots of the motocross is the amateur stuff, and you know, it's a lot different for the sponsors and everything, because you know, I mean, the privateer guy on TV isn't getting any coverage. Nobody, you know, anybody that's following them is following them because they're a fan, not because they're seeing them on TV or anything. So it's good, and trying to give back a little bit. And you know, I never got a title at Loretta's. Always got pretty close. Got a few seconds and thirds, and never got that title. So I figured be turning 25 in a month. I'll be going for my plus title.
Oh man, well that's gonna be cool to see. What's the closest area qualifier for you?
I'm actually gonna do the south of the border one for the southeast, and then I'll probably do one for the northeast too, just in case we get some bike problems at the regional or something. But yeah, I'm actually gonna race the 25 plus and then the 250 pro sport or whatever the 250 pro class is down there on my two-stroke. Battle it out with the kids a little bit. So
oh man,
it'll be good.
So back to the track construction for a little bit. I wanted to know. What does it take to construct a good track? Now, I know anybody who knows how to do some earth moving might think that they know how to make a good track, but what's maybe one of the biggest misconceptions when it comes to building, a really good track for somebody? Be it on-road, off-road, moto, supercross, or off-road, or however.
The thing I kind of, promote in my business is, I didn't race 10 years ago. I didn't grow up racing. I race now. I race professional stuff right now. I race amateur stuff right now. I race off-road stuff right now, on any level, from a local level to a professional level. So, when someone hires me for a track, it's whether it's a vet rider or an amateur rider or, a woods guy, whatever, I can just tell by the type of rider they are right away what kind of track they're looking for, what's safe, what will get them better. And it's something that I've always done when I'm riding around the track. I always find myself being like, oh, what would flow better here? What would be a little bit better section here? So it definitely helps that I still ride and race, and I try to incorporate that in the business and the tracks I do. But it's still trial and error. As far as like drainage, stuff like that. If I build a drain pipe or build a drainage ditch, it might work or it might not work, and it definitely is a little bit of trial and error, but I mean, as far as all the jobs I've done so far, they've all come out, better than the customer wanted. So I try to do the best job I can with what's in front of me. But I mean, Mother Nature definitely plays a huge thing. It's unreal. Like I can work for 3 or 4 days straight, 14-hour days, never get off the machine, sun up to sundown. One storm comes in and smokes out everything I just did, and I'm like, God, it's brutal, and I'm definitely still learning. I'm totally different from now than I was a year ago and a year before that. I used to just groom, and now it takes a lot more to build, and like I said, with the drainage and stuff like that. But it's like anything, the more time you do it, the better you get at it.
For sure. Well, that's interesting. Yeah, I've never thought that. I've always tried to build like dirt jumping trails. That's about the extent of my building, if you will. But yeah, I mean, the biggest thing for me is always thinking about if I could actually jump it, and if it looks too big, I probably couldn't jump it because I'm a wuss. So
yeah,
I don't know. One day I figure I'm 35, or coming up on 35, so I figure one day my balls are gonna drop, and I'll be able to just jump shit and not care. I doubt it.
Yeah,
whatever.
I hear you. I used to, when I was a kid, I used to send anything. I mean, I didn't give a shit. Flipping snowboards, like you name it, I'd go for it. And now I'm like, I gotta go to work on Monday. I'm like, what if I eat it and snap my arm? I'm like, I don't know, maybe, okay, I'll do it.
Yeah, you got it. I love it.
If somebody builds it, I gotta hit it. I don't care what it is. I mean, all those videos people saw of like the Marshall's pit and all that, like, those things, I just one day went out there and built them. And some of my friends were like, I'm not doing it. And I'm like, well, we built it, so somebody's got to do it. So I'm going for it. If it's this, it's got to be hit.
Right. But. That's funny. It's a lot like as I was doing some of the research, kind of looking around for bits. What's that?
He's lost connection.
Oh, that sucks. We'll be back on in a second. Apparently, it just dropped signal. This is one of the awesome bits of having home internet.
Can't connect to Ustream servers.
Why is it? It says it's still recording too. That's stupid.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Okay, let's try again.
Are we back, Steven?
Looks like it.
Woohoo! All right. So, as we were just talking about all the two-stroke stuff, and you whipping it and ripping it and just hitting shit, whatever, I had done some research looking around, and I noticed that you had some your 5 two-stroke commandments that you had posted up on Verb Moto. And one of them was really just like, as far as the throttle goes back is where you should keep it. So tell me a little bit more about these commandments and where they came from and how you live your life by them.
What? I don't even remember what they were. What were they? They from that?
Now I gotta find them.
Yeah.
All right, you ready? You talk about how cool you are. I know. Oh, here it is. Verb Moto. Bam! It's a good thing I have history. All right. The first one. Don't ever let off, especially on a jump. She's meant to rev. And then
that's right.
Hold her wide open and listen to her bark. Bung, 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 bung. Always remember there's no engine brake, so you actually have to use the brakes. Scrub as hard as you want. It's a two-stroke. It'll come back. Remember, it's impossible not to have fun on a two-stroke. I loved it. This shit's funny. There was some good stuff in there.
Yeah, it's true, too. It was what was it? I think it was 09. I didn't ride a two-stroke since 04 to 09. I mean, maybe spun a couple laps on someone's at a track, but I mean, I was straight four-stroke that whole time. And when they made that 252-stroke rule legal for like local stuff, I went out and got one in 09 and had a 450 and a 252 stroke. 'Cause I was just sick of dumping money into the 250F for nothing. I'm a pretty big guy, and I was just put a pipe in a silencer, running FMF on my bike all year long. I don't do nothing else. I don't do a top end, anything. I just run the bike. And I bought the two-stroke, and the first day I rode it, I went out to this like sand pit. And I'm like going down the first straightaway, like barking down the straightaway, loving life. And I let off, and the thing just keeps going. I'm like, damn, boom! I hit a fence. I start tumbling. I'm like picking myself up. My visor's down. My buddy comes over. He's like, what the hell, man? And I'm like, there's no engine brake on this thing. Like, I let off the gas, and it like gained speed like a bobsled. I was brutal. So I actually burned up a bunch of brakes that whole first season trying to like learn how to ride the two-stroke again. And once I spent some time on it, I mean, I can go back and forth pretty easy now, and it's not too hard. I can just switch races. But yeah, at first it was nuts, And then like I'd like go whip a four-stroke, and it was a little different. And then you can throw two-strokes, and like they'll throw harder. And like, I mean, you just pin those things and they come back. Like a 450 or any four-stroke, it's like, if anytime I'd whip those things, if you didn't kind of just have it in the right motion, she was not coming back. Like, she could pop and just stay like that, and you're just done. Like, so the two-stroke, yeah, I mean, that was the main thing. You can throw it as hard as you want. I mean, you rev her, she'll come back.
I was wondering, so like when you hear Justin Barsha do those like crazy-ass revs in the air, and shit, that's actually helping you guys bring those 450s back?
Yeah, I mean, he has a little bit different style. He rides really aggressive all the time. I mean, he revs that thing like an animal, and that's just kind of his riding style. Everyone's different, but as far as the whips, I mean, if you watch like the best whip, I mean, those things are wide open, and
right.
That's them to get them back. It drives the wheel, pulls the wheel down straight. So I mean, you can be upside down and you hold it wide open, it's just gonna pull the wheel kind of down. So it's a little tip for anyone out there trying to do some whips.
Or if I find myself flying to the air upside down, I'm pretty sure if I'm flying to the air upside down, that bike is already going to be wide the fuck open because I'm going to be screaming.
I think it was Gary Bailey that said it, when in doubt, gas it.
See, unfortunately, whenever I'm like going up to the face of a jump and I'm when in doubt, I'm like on the brakes. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I tell everyone the best advice I can give you for hitting a jump is, you know, it doesn't matter if you go up to it wide open or slow. When you get to the bottom, you hold it wide open all the way off the face. And, I mean, you'll at least get over the other side. It might not be pretty, but you'll make it.
Well, sounds like I need to start taking jump tips from you because apparently mine suck. So, for those of you who haven't read it, though, it's definitely worth it. Verbmoto.com. You could probably search for it, but it's 5 Rules Riding Two-Stroke by Robby Marshall, but it's actually titled 5 Two-Stroke Commandments with Robby Marshall. Awesome read. So, obviously, I just kind of read through the top 5 commandments, but he's got some explanations in there that really make it a funny read, and you do get the Northeast accent as you read it and the energy. So it's well written and it's funny. So I definitely say that you guys should go check it out. So Loretta Lynn's, you're going to be in the plus class and the vet class. I've been thinking that I should attempt a vet class. Unfortunately, it'd probably be the novice class. I'm a good off-road racer in Texas. Like I race in the expert class and all that stuff, but I don't jump. I mean, that is like the biggest fear in the world. I grew up racing enduro, so I didn't do jump.
I got a funny story about that for you. So
Perfect.
I built like a off-road track for this guy probably a month ago. Awesome guy, does GNCC. He's just a local guy down here in North Carolina. And I just built him kind of some endurocross stuff in a field, and then, you know, a little bit of moto sections, and then he had it. It's kind of like a JDay course, his own personal one, and it dips into the woods. And I mean, he had, you know, pipes and tires and logs and all kinds of stuff for me to work with. So, you know, it came out really good. And I mean, I built this probably 20-foot double, you know, small face, speed type double, kind of a small little 2-3 foot tall landing with a downside to it, kind of down a hill. And I mean, like, if you pulled me fast enough, I'd do this thing on a mountain bike, like that small. Like, I'd do it on a stock 110 if I cut the turn. And I build this thing, and then homeboy brings a tank bigger than my house. Like, I'm talking, this thing's 15 feet tall, huge tank. And he's like, yeah, I want to ride up over it. I'm like, all right, dude, fine. Put it right in, buried it. I mean, tons of dirt, buried it nice. So, you know, you went up a lot of it and then just kind of crested over the top. But it's a 15-foot tall metal tank that you have to go over. Like, I don't care if the dirt's all the way over the thing. It's sketchy, right? He goes, hey, do you think you could shorten up that double a little bit over there? I don't, you know, that's kind of big. I'm like, what? I'm like, how about that 15-foot tall tank you didn't say a word about? Double I could do on my feet? Like, not right. Not okay. And it's just funny because all the off-road guys, you know, like, they will blast logs, rock pits, just the sketchiest, gnarliest stuff that if you put a motocrosser through, their vagina would leak out. Like, brutal stuff, and they would just kill it. But they're petrified of a double.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I think it's just about being in the air, or it's the unknown. Like for whatever reason, I agree, because there's been multiple times we've been on like little endurocross type sections in races or just other logs, and you hit it, and hell, you fly 15 feet off of that thing, and you're
fine.
You know, you're like 6 feet in the air sometimes just because you hit it just right. That we don't think a second about that, but man, you put actual space where I've got to be like off the ground. Woo, buddy, I'm telling you.
Yeah. It's crazy. But I mean, you know, since the JDay series, I've had I mean, you know, I can honestly say the funnest type of racing I do now is either off-road or like arena cross or supercross, you know, something indoor stuff. The motocross stuff I get frustrated with because I feel like I can go faster than my stock bikes can handle on a motocross track, and I don't want to die, you know, like I just feel like I can just go over what the bike can handle, and I'm going down. Like at that point, I'm going down hard, and it's like it's not enjoyable to me when I'm going crazy. But then I get in the woods, and it's got to be a lot more technical with it and slower pace, and I got to use bike skills a little more. And then same with the arena cross stuff. It's more of like a bar banging battle action with your skills. So I definitely enjoy doing that. I mean, I just like riding my dirt bike in general, so it doesn't really matter what I'm doing. But lately that's definitely the off-road and the arena cross stuff is what I enjoy doing.
Cool. Well, so you did say you're getting ready to head down to Florida. You guys are going to be down there for a long-ass time. What are you expecting to see this year when it comes down to, so it'll be the second Bostwick Creek down there, the second JDay, and then there's, you guys are probably going to be, I don't know if you're going to be racing specifically the GNCCs, but there's going to be all that going on, the Enduros. What are you guys looking forward to?
Yeah, I mean, for me, as far as what I'm doing, I'm gonna, go to the Supercross and watch it, and I got a couple kids that are racing the Daytona Amateur Supercross, so I'll go over there and help them out and hang out for the day, and maybe go up and check out the GNCC, but I doubt I'll be racing that one, and maybe possibly the Georgia one. I'm definitely gonna do some of them with Bart Hayes and Ride PG and WP. He's an awesome guy. I mean, he's been taking care of me for a long time now, and I think I got something for the Woods guys and the GNCC stuff. But I definitely want to be ready. I went into that Florida one a couple years ago, cold turkey, riding Supercross off the couch, and it was no good. Like, I'm out there battling. I was in like third or fourth with Caleb and them, and I got through the Palm Meadows like an animal, and I'm flying, and I'm like, oh, this is sick. I got this. I'm on lap 1 too, by the way. This is what I think. Lap 1. 5 hours later, I got to finish the race. So I'm going, blah, 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 battling. I see Wibbly and the leaders, and I'm like, I'm going to at least lead this thing for a little bit. We get to this big, wide open loam field. I'm talking like ruts and nice motocross section. And I'm like, yeah, the moto section. Bah, blah. Done. On the ground, out cold, sleeping. I open my eyes. I just see Nate Caney coming at me. And I'm like, oh, man, what am I? I'm seeing stars. I'm like, this is brutal. Like, you kidding me? I go through the woods, everything fine. I eat shit in the motocross section. Like, it was, like I said, I was riding Supercross, and it was not the right time to be doing it. So I definitely think I'm gonna do another one. But for racing, as far as racing goes down there, I'll definitely only be doing the JDay. But I went 1-1 last year, so I kind of hoping I have another good year there.
Yeah, for sure. Have you guys heard? I know that Zach Osborne was out a little bit because of his collarbone. Have you guys heard if he was planning on coming back or if he was riding again?
Don't you worry. Homeboy's in his little off season here. He'll be down there ripping. You think he would like getting beat by me? No way. He's going for blood this time.
Nice. Well, I hope he's good enough to ride, man. It'll be cool to see him down there again. And Jason Thomas, I know he was out there with you guys too. Have you heard if he's going to be making it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure, some of the GNCC guys, at least the ones that aren't, contracted by the big guys, will be out there, and it's a really good payout. I mean, John Day does an awesome job with it, and it's a sick event. I'm actually gonna race the 125 Pro class too, so I'll do the 125 Pro and then the 250 Pro. So.
Bitchin'. Well, yeah. What was it? I was trying to think about. Oh my gosh, sprayed fart. Do. Man, I had something really good to say, Steven, and then I forgot it.
Can't help you.
You can't help me? What the hell?
No.
You don't have like cue cards?
I should start.
Get back on track, you stupid idiot! Love it. One day we'll have it together. I don't really know though. It'll be interesting. Well, so 125. You're gonna be on the 250 in the pro class, going down there for Florida. I have to ask, how crazy does Bike Week get if you're ready to go full throttle at nighttime with some of those bikers?
I mean, like I said, every year we go down there. I mean, it's our favorite time of year, and usually we go down and ride and kind of hang out, but we're there training and riding, so we don't go full out. Like, we have a few nights that we really let it loose, and a few times, but it's not the full Bike Week experience for us where it's all day, every day, and a lot of us. I mean, this is my first year with a Harley, so I think I might enjoy that Bike Week a little more than normal. But we definitely I can't even explain it, it's just, even if it's not, too crazy at night, just during the day, like, it's just such an awesome time of the year. And for us, we're getting older now to where everyone's always doing their own thing. And some of us are in California, or some of us are in Mass. We're all over the place. And Daytona is just that one place that it's like, we all know, it's Daytona time, so we're there, and it doesn't matter where you're coming from or how you're getting there or what you're going there in, but you're going to be there, and it's going to be sick.
Awesome. Well, here's something I'd like to ask of you to do for me while you're there. We have a competition that goes on every week. It's a social competition. We call it the Pint Full of Awesome Award. It's just kind of using the hashtag Pint Full of Awesome. I would like you to, while you're Instagramming all of this fun, good times, to try to use that hashtag a couple times, so that way we could kind of keep up to date on some of the greatness that goes on. It's easier sometimes to follow those hashtags than like millions and millions of people, because you can just go specifically to them. Because I'm pretty sure a couple things that you're going to do are going to be worthy of a Pint Full of Awesome. So
I'm gonna be honest with you guys. It's gonna be more than a couple things. It's gonna be a few things, yeah.
Dig it. Well, all right. Just because of the fact that we like to keep the show fun, we like to keep the energy high, we don't like to stay online for 4 hours and stuff like that. We're gonna go ahead and just kind of bring it to a close. But before we let you go, what are some last thoughts, some last words of wisdom, or just some Marshallisms for us, if you will?
Yeah, what I can tell you, everyone says, what's the best advice you got? And for me, for my life advice, why they call me Uncle Marshall, I can say enjoy it, man. Have a good time. And whether you're racing, off-road, or just riding with your buddies, or working a full-time job, going to school, we're all out here on the life grind doing the best we can. Even you guys with your show, everyone's just trying to put your best foot forward and keep moving, keep building, and as long as you're not going backwards, you're doing good. And I gotta say, enjoy it, man. Life's short, and I'll be 25, and it's like, I feel like in life experience, I'm already 50 years old. I've just been around and done so much. So the best advice I can say is enjoy what's in front of you and enjoy the ride. The roller coaster goes up and down, and when it's down, it sucks, but when it's up, enjoy it. So keep having fun.
Hell yeah, dude, you're right. That's definitely what we do here. We just like to have a good time and make sure that we're keeping shit as lighthearted as possible and enjoying and getting people motivated on having fun out there on their dirt bike in the off-road world. Well, definitely, we really appreciate you being on the show. First time for you being on Seat Time, but I really hope it's not the last time. I think that we should definitely have some of you guys back on after you guys get back from Florida, and maybe one or two JDay goes by for the new season, just because I think it'll be really good to hear about some of the stories that you guys create.
Yeah, for sure. I think I'll be up there for the opening round, and it's actually at our track, Crow Hill, April 20th, and we're going to do some ram tracks in there, build some cool stuff, and maybe we'll get some Rippas together. We'll do a FaceTime. You can FaceTime 3 or 4 of us savages at one time. You'll get some good stuff.
FaceTime 3 savages at the same time. That sounds dirty, and I am in.
It could be like Nick Batten, me, and Johnny G. Yeah.
I love it. Bunch of savages. I'm gonna start using that word, and people are gonna look at me like I'm crazy, and it's gonna be just like normal. So why the hell not, right? Well, seriously, Mr. Marshall, we really appreciate you coming on the show. You enjoy the rest of your Tuesday evening, and we're gonna keep on keeping on. Is that cool?
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me, and I hope everyone enjoys the show.
Yeah, bro. Thanks, man.
Take it easy.
Later. All right. So as we take a minute here and switch over to our next guest, I, of course, am going to talk about one of our fantastic sponsors. It is Fly Racing. You can find more about them at flyracing.com. But like I did last week, I'd like again to remind you guys about the Action Jersey. Love this jersey. I've got quite a few of them. I use it for mountain biking, working out, all that kinds of fun stuff. And as well, I know it's going to be good for when it gets really hot here in Texas like it does. Kind of in between races and running around there at the races when I'm not actually physically racing. It's all-around activewear shirt constructed from cafe fabric, which is infused with recycled coffee beans. I definitely had a WTF moment when I read that, but hey, go check it out at the site. It's there. Super fast drying, a lot of odor control, very UV protective, and of course eco-friendly. They're coffee beans. It's very eco-friendly. So yeah, go check that out, flyracing.com, and you can make it into their shirt section in the casual wear, and they've got their active jerseys. It's also there within the mountain bike type stuff. So yes, you can get it. I dig it. As we do with Fly Racing, I want to say thank you, because we talked about the last 2 weeks about everybody submitting for the social media competition of Pint Full of Awesome. So with that, we have actually had quite a few more submissions, and I really, really say thank you to everybody for that. Big appreciation. And of course, it took me a while to find a winner, because a lot of people were tagging older pictures that they've been up there for a while, which isn't a problem. In my eyes, that's what it's about, is keeping all of that organized into one central area under that hashtag. But one of the ones that really but big thanks to Fast Company and Isaac Jones from this past weekend, because you guys seriously blew us up, tagged us in a bunch of pictures. All the ones from Fast Company were from cool desert races. Isaac Jones had some really neat woods pictures of him racing. It was super cool, so thank you for that. I also want to say Justin Sode, from the one that you tagged us in last week after the show, your mechanic is a great man. Keep him hydrated, and please keep filming, because it's fantastic. But our winner is going to be Matt Doug 401. That was and here's kind of the reason why I picked this picture. It may not come across to a lot of people right off the bat, but I picked this picture because it made me think about all the great times that I've had hanging in the woods with my dirt bike. You don't always have to. I figure you kind of don't always have to be, trying to go the fastest or trying to have the guy with the most style. Sometimes it's really just about being out there and having a good time and enjoying, life and with your dirt bike. And that's kind of what I thought this did for us. For me anyway, and that's why I picked this as the winner. What's very cool is that the guys from Fly Racing, our good buddy Dale Spangler, has decided that he's going to give away one of the Kinetic Blockout helmets. It's the blue one. So that's very cool. So if anybody, we're going to go ahead and talk to Matt Doug after the fact, but if anybody wants to tag him and let him know, he can get in touch with us, and he can get us the helmet sizes, and we'll get his address and all that fun stuff. So big time thanks going, everybody. We really, really, really appreciate it. And of course, thanks to Fly Racing for not just supporting the show, but supporting everything else that's been going on. It's been a great time. So I know that Steven's trying to figure out how to connect to a couple different things going on right now. Steven, what do we need to do to keep this going?
Sign in to Google.
Sign into Google.
Yeah.
Are we going to have to hang out?
Yeah.
No Skype?
No Skype. No
Skype. With either of them?
One hasn't responded, and the other can't get Skype working.
Sweet. It should be seattime.co@google.gm. You guys are going to learn a lot about us right now, especially about how prepared we are. So seattime.co@gmail.com. Does he have FaceTime? Because if he's got FaceTime, just FaceTime him.
Well, I asked for that too, and he didn't.
Oh, well.
He said he's in Hangouts. So.
And then the typical password. And don't forget it has the
exclamation.
Mm-hmm. No. Yay, we are figuring things out. So one of the things, while Steven's getting this going and figured out, I kept this next to me because I thought it was very cool. I got the new Dirt Bike magazine in, and as everyone is talking about the new Huskies, so we've got the new FE 350 here on continue to Google Plus at the bottom. And then I'm excited to read this. I haven't even had a chance yet. Got it yesterday. So I'm excited to read about that. Got stuff with Day in the Dirt. The Husky FE350, though, is I have a feeling is what's going to really catch my attention because of the fact that that's probably the bike that I'm going to be getting, not a 2014. I think the numbers are going to be too limited. I know everything's gone really fast. I don't think the quality is going to be bad, any of that kind of stuff. I literally just, one, need more time to save money, and two, I need to make sure that if there are any kind of issues, that they're kind of worked out and kinked out. Granted, they probably already have the 2015s about where they're going to be ready to go, just so everything's produced and ready to go for timing. So, I don't know. We'll see. It'll be interesting. Another thing is that I did get a press release from the guys over at Rocky Mountain ATV. They sent out one of their press releases, and it's officially announcing that they are supporting Josh Strang for a second year in the GNCCs. Now, I have a feeling that everybody kind of knew this, but it's one of those situations where I guess they hadn't officially announced it. So getting that press release today, I was glad to know that they had officially announced it. So one of the big things that they talked about in this press release, not just that they are supporting Josh Strang again, but as well that he has switched brands. So I think most people know that he was riding a Kawasaki last year. And he's obviously, if you follow him on Instagram or Facebook or any of that stuff, you've seen he's lots and lots of testing pictures on the YZ450F. So he's going to be getting a lot more support from Yamaha, from factory Yamaha, which is the AmPro team, from Randy Hawkins and those guys over there on the East Coast. So I think it's going to be interesting. One of the things that is I think with that kind of that factory support with Randy Hawkins and a lot of the knowledge there, is he's really going to be able to help him test and make adjustments to the bike, which I think I'm really looking forward to. With that, I think we're going to see a lot better results from Josh Strang. He was 4th last year for the GNCC, but I think and he got a couple podiums. But I think we're going to see a lot more out of him this year, unless that 450 is just really hard to get used to. Now with the newer bikes, we've seen guys like Justin Brayton do a lot better on them. Phil Nicoletti hasn't done horrible. Josh Grant, he hasn't had the greatest Supercross season, but they've all looked better. And it looks like they're riding the bikes a lot better. And if there's anything to say that Justin Brayton rides that bike in the whoops, freaking amazing. So if that goes to show anything, hopefully that can relate over to what Josh Strang is going to try to do on those. So can you type in his name and add him?
There's 2 of them. So
does one of them have a dirt bike in his picture?
Neither of them had pictures.
Does one of them have a number 29 in it?
It doesn't give me names. It just says...
Put a space. So we know. For those of you who are wondering, we are typing into... Nice! All right, so apparently Ustream 1 is being a complete bitch, and 2, we are having technical difficulties all over the place, but that's okay. We're testing things out, trying to have fun on the internet, and sometimes you've got to look at a couple nude pictures to figure out how to block them. It happens. So we are now going to come over with our next JDay Ripper, Mr. Bob Santheson. That's how I'm going to pronounce it. Is that right at all?
It's Santheson.
Santheson. All right, so Bob Santheson, you happen to be one of the only guys left riding a Kawasaki, or I guess you should say not riding the KTM. And you've been on a Kawasaki for a long time looking at the pictures. So why have you held out so long?
I've been riding the Kawasaki, just being working at a Kawasaki dealership. So they kind of help me out with the bikes, and I kind of do my best with it.
So you haven't found a way to find like a 2005, 2006 two-stroke Cowie and just keep it updated?
Yeah, we've been looking for some good ones. It's funny, I was talking with somebody earlier about trying to put one in a aluminum frame.
Oh, one of the KXAFs or whatever?
Yeah, I think John Dowd did it with through Chaplin or one of the dealers. They built one. It's possible.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. There's a local guy here that took a 250 the 250F and put a 500 motor in it, a 500cc two-stroke motor in it, and it's
the 500 be a little too much.
Oh come on. JDay's so wide, man. You guys have like tractor width woods. Come on.
Yeah, I'm trying to get the 450 dialed in, and that's a tough part.
I don't know, man. If I was in the Northeast, I'd do it. Absolutely not. So, it's always a great time to talk to you crazy-ass Northeasterners. One, I have a great time listening to y'all because half the words that come out of your mouth, I feel like I'm learning a new language. You've got the craziest accents. You all sound like you're Bostonians, which isn't the case. I mean, you're from all over in the Northeast. And the JDay series has really kind of taken off in the past couple years. It looks like you have actually been involved with the JDay Off-Road series since kind of the beginning. I've noticed your name was in there from around 2011 on up. So just tell us a little bit about your involvement, in the Northeast racing and being involved with all the JDay racing.
Yeah, even 2010, I think, is when Johnny had like 3 events that he put on that year. I attended one of them just to check it out, and it knew right away that he had something that we've all been waiting for, really, and just kind of given, the Northeast kind of putting us on the map with a series that he's built. And no, I've known Johnny for a long time. I've raced against his dad at Metra for years, and watched him growing up through the mini class and right up to racing side by side with me on the AA line. And it's cool to watch him progress the way he has.
Yeah. When we actually did get a chance to talk with John sometime last year. It might have been actually in late 2012. And it's interesting. He's not just a promoter. He's definitely he still races when he can, but he actually went over and did some of the World Enduro, and he's done a lot of racing back in the day before JDay and all that kind of stuff here in the States. So he definitely knows how to ride. But besides that, are there any other good crazy or great sides about Mr. John Day that we should know about?
Not that I know about.
Anything crazy, fun stories, or that could make us giggle a little?
No, I don't really know that side of John. I've really just been the racing friend and just kind of, I don't know. Don't really have any stories.
That's okay. We'll figure it out. One day I'm sure that we'll be able to break it and we'll find out more about John Day in the way that we all know we want to, what he looks like with boxers on.
Right.
So I've noticed that there's a lot of riders sponsored by the guy that runs the Loud Fuel. I don't really know too much about that, and obviously it seems like it's very well associated there in the JDay series. Do you know much about this Loud Fuel company, and could tell us a little bit more?
Yeah. Cabral Tasher, the owner, he's a racer. His kid races. He's a really, really good guy. Loves the sport. Loves just helping people out, and that's really what he's doing. He actually was the recipient of the 2013 JDay Sportsman Award, so he's been recognized for that, and he does a lot. He does a lot for a lot of people, and he's really good people.
Cool. Do you use the fuel that he provides?
Yeah. He uses. We all use the VP Racing fuels, and they actually own an oil company down the Cape, and that's kind of his business, and he kind of does the VP through the racing.
Nice. And you said you work for a Kawasaki shop. So how involved are a lot of the local shops there with the local JDay series and a lot of the local JDay riders?
Pretty involved. I mean, my dealership, Pilgrim Power Sports, we try to help out as many guys as we can. Everybody that's doing the series and racing it, every round and, going at it like they do, we try to help out as much as we can. And they help us out as well. They run our graphics and, they're doing their part to help us as we help them. And I know there's a lot of other shops like in New England that also help out quite a bit. Everybody seems to be jumping on the JDay bandwagon, I guess we can call it.
Right.
And just doing good stuff with it.
Nice. What do you think it is about JDay that appeals to you so much? Now, I've listened, talked to quite a few riders, but I kind of wanted to just get your perspective on what it is that draws you to it so much.
The thing that I like about it is, finally getting some recognition through all the media. There's definitely a lot of hype about the series, and there's never been that type of outlet for our sponsors. Our sponsors are kind of looking for, nobody wants to see a guy go by for 5 seconds and be gone for 40 minutes. They're not really seeing what's on the bike, and even those spectators that you want there for your sponsors, they're kind of bored with that kind of a series, so they kind of just don't want to go.
Right.
The spectator involvement that he gets is pretty much the driving force, I feel, what is going to bring him to the next level. Right. We just had 2 winter series races over here in New England, and we've been buried with snow. And the first round, I think we had probably about 1,000 people show up.
Whoa.
Yeah, and people are just kind of excited about it and want to see what it's all about. And when, you know, potential sponsors see the amount of people that go to these events, they want to be involved with it.
Yeah.
And that's what's kind of got me excited about it, because we never had that. Like, through all the blood, sweat, and tears of Netra, it was we all did it because we wanted to do it. It wasn't because we were putting a show on for anybody. And I think with JDay, we're actually able to put on a show, and people can see the hidden talents that was everything that was happening out in the middle of the woods.
Yeah.
Is now happening in front of everybody.
How do you see JDay evolving? I think every series has to kind of evolve, just to stay relevant and things like that. Do you see JDay evolving at all in the next few years?
Yeah, there's no holding Johnny back. That kid's wide open all the time, and he's shooting to be the country's best off-road series. And I think he's got the people behind him, and that I think he'll be doing some good stuff here.
One of the big questions I've had for John and for some other, JDay Rippas, if you will, is how they see that event and that race format taken in different parts of the country. I noticed, like Bostwick last year, it was a knockout. Everybody loved it. They're going down to Florida again. I have a feeling that a lot of other people are going to enjoy it, and the ones that are coming back are going to enjoy it all over again. But I wonder, in a situation like, say, like in Texas, or like on the West Coast, places like that where it's not, maybe it's not as much forest and it's more open. It can get dusty. The terrain's not as good. The ground doesn't ever get near the amount of loam, and brownie mix that you guys can get there up in the Northeast. Do you think that a terrain change like that would wind up changing the format, or that it would the appeal would change?
I've heard you mention that before, as far as like the terrain that we have up here. I don't know if it's that really makes the series. I think it's just his format is very unique.
Okay.
And also, I think with any type of terrain you throw at him, he's going to make a fun course for everybody.
Right.
He'll mold anything he can into a fun course. He knows what people want to ride. He knows what spectators want to see, and no, I think he'll, anywhere he goes, he's going to do a really good job.
Very cool. Yeah, it's been interesting when I've gone. I have never promoted a race. I definitely transparent on that. But it's been interesting because as I've gone to more races lately, obviously just kind of going out, either if I'm practicing or if I'm gonna race, or maybe I'm just out filming for the promoter. I've looked at things a little bit differently now, and there have been some times where I've kind of been like, you know what? This section would be really neat if it was, opposed to being so tight, if it was maybe a little bit wider, or we gave specifically like 3 to 4 lines. We really to change it up to kind of keep it to where, someone who's riding behind somebody else, maybe in second place, like waiting to make a pass, they don't have to wait for that one little turn that has that one little bit onto the left where you can go this way, and he just hopes that the guy in front of him doesn't take it so he can then take it to get in front of him, to make that quick pass because it's so tight in this section. And though I do enjoy riding in tight single-track woods, I wonder if in these formats, if we could find a little bit more of an ability for the promoters to put in these sections where they make these 3 to 4 different kind of lanes, not just passing lanes, but real like race pace type lanes, or much wider. How it would change. I don't know, because we don't have anybody that thinks like that or that does that. Do you think? And again, I agree with what you're saying, that the way that John Day puts on a race is what draws not just the riders but the spectators. So what are some of the little things that maybe we could say? We'll start with promoters in Texas. How they could maybe try to take what we have as a format. It works. We get riders and racers out there. They have a good time, but that might be able to, I guess maybe we'll say JDay it up.
Yeah, no, I hear you. The wide trails that's kind of the reason that wide is because I think the real focus is keeping the mileage down. If you can keep it to like I think we usually max out. I mean, a 5-minute lap would be a long lap.
Right.
I think the width that he's making the trail is based on the shortness of the lap, because there's going to be so many people, riding that one line that he's going to need. We'll walk the track in the morning and you see the main line, but we're not even looking at that because we know that that's going to just get destroyed. So
right.
we 40 feet of ribbon to ribbon to kind of put our own eyes to it and put our own lines together. But I think it's really the length of the lap. It keeps people going around, keeps the spectators seeing what's going on, and he keeps it tight, real tight.
I think it's interesting what you said too, is that about how he knows what riders want to ride and what spectators want to see. That is very important. I have ridden. There is a series here in Texas called Torn. I've been to a few of those races, but I just want to say I'm not trying to be negative against that series. Everybody has a series that they like for whatever reason. I particularly, unfortunately, have never had an extremely positive experience with the tracks that they've laid out. They're just not for me. They're not tracks that I enjoy. And I feel like they do like to keep their tracks, their lap length, much lower. So you have faster, you do more laps opposed to doing longer laps. But I think the one thing that in that case that might be missing for a guy like me is that it's not what I want to ride. If it was 4 miles of or if it was 1.5 miles to 4 miles of just bitchin' ass terrain that not only did I want to ride, but people wanted to watch, I think it might change my perspective on going to those Torn races. And I feel like a lot of promoters in Texas, unfortunately, they'll go to a property, these are properties that we've ridden a lot, and a lot of the times they take the easy way out, which is they use a lot of the same terrain that has been ridden on these properties for a while, and so they just kind of loop this part into this part and then this part into this part, which what I see from watching all the social stuff, that's nowhere near what goes on at a JDay race. It seems like he's always creating some pretty bitchin' stuff for everybody to enjoy.
Oh yeah, he's always giving us some fresh trail to burn in and keeps it nice.
Do you enjoy the fact that you guys don't practice? How does that aspect of it change things for you? The practice, we've never, up in the off-road in the Northeast, we've never had a practice. I mean, Netra did maybe, I don't know, 20 years ago right.
at one particular round, but that was about it. But that's where, I do a lot. We do track walks, basically. You basically walk the track and just kind of figure it out on your own.
Yeah, it's interesting too.
I
can't say that I had an idea of how it should work when I started racing cross-country races here in Texas. I didn't really do a lot of cross-country races growing up. I did a bunch of enduro races. So obviously we never walked anything. We never knew the trail. So when I came here in Texas, Saturday is typically like your family ride day. You can go out and ride the track as fast as you want to. You can ride as slow as you want to. You can go out in groups of your friends or whatever. It's just an open track. Toro's a little bit different than that. But it's interesting. So we have the complete opposite. I mean, 110%, 100% opposite of what you guys have. Our Saturdays are, dawn to dusk, riding on the racetrack for the next day. So yeah, that would be a big change for a lot of people. And Toro tried to do that, where they gave an hour practice for each of the type of classes, the A's, B's, and C's riders, and then an hour open at the end of the day. So in the long run, you only had about 2 hours to really kind of be on the track, and that's more just to kind of quell a lot of the people that were so used to being able to ride so much on Saturday. But they wanted to kind of get into that aspect of not, showcasing the track that people will be racing on the next day. But
right.
I don't know. So we've talked a lot about how awesome you are. No. So you've done really well in a lot of the JDays. I don't know your age or any of that kind of stuff. But what does the pro class look like? You know, from your perspective. I don't know if you're one of the young guns out there, like with with Johnny G and Connell and stuff like that. But of your perspective, you know, who else should we be watching for? You know, we see like the was it Josh, Cinemo, Johnny G, Connell. Hango, stuff like that, but you know, besides just yourself, obviously, like who else should we be paying attention to with JDay?
Well, it's funny that you bring up the age thing because I think half of all of those guys are probably half my age. I think I have trophies that might be older than them, but no, Johnny's definitely that. He's just a amazing rider. I don't really get the chance to really watch him much, but watch him in the videos, and you know, Johnny does implement, you know, a lot of his riders for championship points. You have to work an event, and I get a chance to watch him then, and the kid is amazing. I don't know if there's anybody that can match what he's doing on a bike right now, but definitely some guys are putting in the work. I think we'll, you know, definitely be looking at Nick Batten, Kyle Hangos, Connell. There's a few guys. We got Jason Clammer, two-time Netro champion. He's coming over full time.
Sweet.
There's going to be this series, like I said, from 2010. It was, you know, I did one. You know, a couple guys did one. A couple other guys did another one. And then 2011, the first series I think that he had. You know, since then, I've watched the competition get intense.
Right.
I mean, I was a podium rider in 2011, and I think my best finish since then has been like a 6th. And it's to get a 6th in that class, you're moving. You're definitely not crashing. You're definitely not making any mistakes. You're
right.
Riding a race.
We had a question from the chat room, actually, from Mark Weeks. He was asking, because we were talking about the formats and you guys walking the track, do you guys get any kind of a hot lap or maybe just a parade lap before you start on the bike?
It's a 0. Yeah, nothing at all. We'll be lucky to even get a practice hole shot in. A lot of times there's a ribbon right across the line, and we're just behind that thing until the flag drops, and then we just go 30 minutes hard. So
in a situation like that, I have absolutely no experience in that. Like, especially like with motocross too. You know, you might get a practice. You've got practices during the day and stuff like that. But I mean, when that gate drops, you're 100%, and you kind of really have no idea what's around the corner, except for you kind of looked at it, but you didn't look at it at race pace on your bike. What is a rider at your level and the other guys? How do you think about that? What are your thought processes when you're kind of like, all right, first turn, blah, 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 look for this, look for that. How do you kind of take that all in?
Being, like, as far as, like, not having any practice on it?
Yeah, I mean, when you walk it and you go, all right, here's the first turn, here's the second turn, here's the third turn. Now, when I come through here, hauling balls, following a bunch of other dudes, maybe you're in front, like, what do you do to think about, to go, okay, how do I prioritize where I need to try to be, or how do I need to try to ride this when you're hitting it 100% the first time?
Yeah, it really comes down to the track walk. I do it religiously every race. I actually will do it in the morning before my first moto, and I'll even go out before my second moto and walk it again, because everything's constantly changing. Right. And you got to know, you just have to, without having the practice, you have to be prepared. And the only way to do that is to get out there and walk the track, or a lot of times we'll mountain bike the track as well.
I can't imagine it. It would scare the shit out of me.
The other thing too is with, the laps are so small, after 2-3 laps, you know the lines to be in, where the fast line is, where the bad lines are, and you just kind of learn as you go.
Ooh, here's a good question from the chat room. Who do you think the top A riders in JDay this year will be?
Top A riders?
Yeah. They said A rider, so I guess that's expert?
Yeah, that would be our expert class.
Right.
there's actually there's a few kids that are moving up from the B class, and there's a lot of A guys that have moved up into the pro class. So there's definitely a whole fresh crew going in there. I know at our winter events we had probably 20 riders in the A class, A250 line, and I really haven't got a chance to kind of figure out who's going to be the top of that class this year, but I'd have to say I think there's even a couple of junior riders that might be racing A. Cody Baker would be one name to watch. He'll be on the 250. Who's that kid on the 200? Oh, James Skinner. He'll be on the A200 line. There's quite a bit. It's going to definitely be competitive. Real competitive.
I'd love to come up there. I know it was funny. I talking to John, trying to figure out a way to make it up there, just to experience the event and get out there and be able to race. I would get in the A class. I race A here. I'd race A there, regardless of inconsistencies or lack of testosterone or testicles. I would just I would have to just man up and do it. But it's one of those things where it would be one hell of an experience to just go up there and try to bang bars with you guys. And I don't know if anybody would understand me. You guys have a whole nother language up there, man.
No, yeah, I'm understanding you.
Man, it's crazy. We were talking to Robby Marshall. I mean, that dude's got so many different slang. I mean, it sounds like it's like almost like Cockney. Of the people in the UK, the British people, they have people that speak Cockney, where even British people have trouble understanding what the hell they mean. It's almost that degree of craziness.
Yeah, those guys got the strong accent, that's for sure.
Sorry, trying to catch up with the chat room a little bit. Another gentleman was asking, what's the average length of a track? I think you tell me. I've got numbers in my head, but I'm probably wrong because I don't have a memory.
Mileage-wise?
Yeah, what would you think mileage-wise be?
Well, I think we're usually doing like 4 to 5 minute laps, so I'd say anywhere from 1.5 miles to 2 miles. I think 2 miles probably being like your 5 minute lap.
Crazy. Yeah, I think Torn, the series I was chatting about a little bit earlier, they try to keep theirs, I want to say, around up to 5 miles.
Yeah, what's that? So that's probably like a 20-minute lap.
Yeah, and it's different too. I mean, some bits of terrain, if it's really wooded, it's probably gonna be a little bit slower. And then if it's a little bit more open, obviously, cooking around 3rd to 5th gear and go a little bit faster, all that kinds of fun stuff. So your series, in some people's minds, might be a little bit different. So bike setup. Would you think that you guys set your bikes up any different than some of the other series, or just, being ignorant, is it off-road and it's just an off-road type of setup?
No, it's funny actually. Factory Connection actually has they've got a place right in New Hampshire, and they have what they call the JDay setup.
Really?
And yeah, and it's basically from the guys that I've talked to up there, I've used Factory Connection for a few years, and it's basically a lighter motocross setting, where like you get the plushness for like the rocks and the roots, but you still have they still kind of give you the confidence to kind of really hit it, hit stuff aggressive too.
Interesting. Yeah, it's kind of what I thought. What do you think about y'all's extreme sections?
The extreme sections?
Yeah, I think the KTM extreme sections, right? If we wanted to get specific.
Yeah, what's funny is lately they've turned into like the, watching Supercross. It seems like they've got this thing where they're always hyping up like who's going to do the quad and who's going to do this jump over here. Lately, that's what it's been, and we've had some pretty cool action, like really good action, like with guys really just sending it over the most insane stuff that we've seen.
Yeah.
Turning like 3 logs into like a triple jump, or what was it, a couple weeks ago, Johnny was jumping doubling up over the tires and then stepping up onto the something, and just it's always a crowd favorite. Everybody's always at the extreme section. So the guys, they look for that one line that they can kind of do to stand out and also gain extra time and look good doing it.
Yeah, and I think, say like you were talking about, everybody kind of getting there and referring, maybe looking at the extreme section. Who's going to do the quad? Oh, look at the triple log thing, which I saw from this past weekend. The pictures were awesome.
That was insane.
Yeah, that was one hell of a gap. And if you came up short, you caught that rear end, man, you were just getting your ass bucked.
Yep, I rolled the first one and doubled out. I played it old guy safe,
Hey, I hear you, buddy. I hear you. I'm right there with you. It's unfortunate, but we're here. We know we have to go to work the next day.
Oh yeah.
I wonder how much of that is Mr. Day thinking ahead. Like you're saying, it's like in those sections, I wonder how, he knows that he's putting these 3 logs in this area because these 3 logs, most people are going to, single double it or double single it, but this is going to create, he knows he's making it just big enough for the fast guys to have to kind of like work for it, but they're going to be able to get it, and it's going to be badass to watch. Where I don't know, I think in some of I'd call them the Endurocross sections around here, they're just there. There's rocks, there's some logs, we had a car at one point, that was pretty cool, and tires and stuff like that, but I don't know if the thought process goes into it like you're saying that it does with John, and I believe you. I mean, I'm thoroughly enjoyed by what I see at these races from Texas.
Yeah, I think so. He's definitely, putting a fine line there where, some of the guys are going to definitely go for it, and they are. And I think that's another added part to the excitement,
So speaking of everybody, like I even mentioned it, I want to come do a JDay. We've got guys in the chat room that said we want to go do a JDay. I've heard other people talk about that. I want to go do a JDay. I want to go do a JDay. We've noticed last year that the KR4 program, Arrive and Ride, came with the GNCC. This year, they're back at the GNCC, and they're doing the National Enduros. And we saw another group come in, the Dirtwise guys, with Shane Watts and all of his stuff. They're now having a ready-to-race program at the GNCCs. I don't know. I can't remember if they're doing the National Enduros. I know they're going to be at a few of them. I know they're going to be there for Jesse Grome, so there's a good chance they will be. But I wonder if these programs do well for 2015, do you think that there would be a spot for these companies to think about, having these ready-to-race type programs for JDay?
For the JDay, yeah. I mean, it definitely seems like it would be a way to get people from around the country to kind of just fly in, enjoy the weekend, and race one, and then fly home. It definitely cuts down on travel time. Yeah.
I mean, I think that's the biggest thing, is it's so hard. The Northeast is like way up there. I mean, driving just to a GNCC, it's like 17 hours. But I mean, to hit you guys, that's like a full day. I mean, easy full day for us. But I think that would be kind of cool. So, people that I don't know. If there's anybody to talk to this year to maybe see about getting something like that started for 2015, there might be local shops up there. You guys might be able to prep bikes and stuff. Whoever it is you were saying, that the people that have the JDay setup, that might be a whole nother deal where they could have an option like that, and guys could get picked up at the airport and be able to come race a JDay and pick up a bike. I think that would be pretty wicked. I know I would be on board with that once we pop out this new baby. Well, my wife does, not me. But
you almost put a little package together.
See? Yeah, now we're coming out. I will just easily take 15-20% off the top when you guys get it all set up. You just let me know who is sending the checks.
Talk to Johnny.
And we'll get it all set up. It'll be fantastic, and I will let you guys, give me credit.
Yeah, maybe get a free trip out of it.
Oh, woo. I'm glad somebody's figured it out. All right, we had another quick fun question. How many races are in a typical JDay season?
I think he settled into about 15, 16.
Yeah, it's a lot, and I think that's awesome. You guys have a lot of races.
Like I said, he started the first year there was 3. I think 2011 there might have been 9, and then 2012 we hit about 13, and then the past couple of years it's been. And he throws in a couple, like 2 double headers, so you're getting 2 rounds basically in one weekend.
Right.
I guess it's really like 14 locations, 14 separate rounds, but 2 of those rounds being double headers.
And then, of course, when I was talking to the Marshall, we had a little bit of a comment about how much of a wuss I am when it comes to jumping. We've noticed that you guys do have quite a few different motocross sections of these races. How are you when it comes to jumping? And do you have any advice for wusses like myself?
No, I mean the jumps don't really bother me. I mean, I've always dabbled in the motocross as far as cross training, so that part's not too bad. It's really just being comfortable doing it. And we actually have an event at Robby's track at Crow Hill, and some of the jumps that we see there are some of the biggest ones we see on the circuit.
Right.
And you just have to be comfortable. Any full-on woods guy that's thinking about doing some JDays, just get out and start hitting some jumps, because it's definitely part of the courses. You gotta be able to do it all of it.
Gotta be able to jump sick jumps. That's the only reason that I'm like, if I could find a way up there, I would be so just like freaked out being on the line with all those A guys, because I've seen them in the videos. Those dudes jump like. I mean,
he definitely keeps it safe. It's not like a full-on moto track, and even if there was like a big jump that's part of the track, he'll tame it down a little bit just to kind of. He knows there's guys out there, that are, woods guys just trying it out. So he tries to keep it safe for everybody, but fun for the guys that want to, go the distance.
He knows there's guys like me out there that are wusses.
Yep, there's a line for you over the left.
Oh, that's a good question. Here in Texas and other places I've seen a couple of times, they have alternates, and typically the alternate is slower. Like it's specifically made, whether it be a jump, which is like a no roll type of jump, or like an enduro cross type section, like your guys is the KTM extreme section, or maybe a really bitchin' gnarly hill climb, something like that. And we have alternates, but the alternates are specifically slower, so it's not a penalty, but it's more of a gain if you took the harder line. How do they handle that kind of stuff at the JDay races?
The same way. The extreme section, the entrance to the extreme, you either go extreme is usually to the, well, I guess it'd be different, but extreme one way, easy the other way. And the easy section is usually, it's 5-10 seconds longer,
okay.
Mostly most of the time.
Yeah. So it's like extreme or not extreme.
Yeah, it's either jumping logs and tires or just going through a circus of S turns.
Yeah. Oh, I love the enduro cross type extreme stuff. That's so much fun. Now, it kicked my ass in Vegas when we made that trip out west, but hey, if you can't quit something and go to the bar early, what can you do with your life, right?
Right.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm glad to see that we've got to a point where the chat room is starting to get a little bit more active this evening. They've been dead dry and all over the place. It's like well, I could say what it's like, but then I'd be saying things I don't need to be saying on the internet.
Here, I'm looking for my phone and it's right.
So, as we kind of close it up a little bit here, tell me, just give me some of your last thoughts. Maybe places that people can find you to get information about you, what you do, anything you'd like to say about JDay, or just anything about the Northeast and you crazy-ass Rippas.
Yeah, I mean, what I do is I'm just having fun and, not letting my age slow me down at all, and just kind of just doing my thing up here in the Northeast. And Johnny's, giving me kind of a something more to do. I did the Netra thing for a long time. I was chasing championships for a lot of years. I think actually I just finished, last season was my 15th consecutive year chasing points in the pro class up here in New England. And yeah, and came close in 04, had some wins, came close again in 08 after knee surgery, and after that, I just kind of, up here I was kind of maxed out, so I went and did some GNCCs in '09. Finished 7th in the XC2 Pro class that year, and then went XC1 the following year, and then that's when Johnny's series came out, and I figured, why do all this traveling when I can have just as much fun at home, and that's what we've been doing, just doing that series and just having a good time with it. I got the whole family's involved. My wife takes photos now. She's MotoPhoto29 on Instagram and Facebook, and you can find her. You can also follow me at Santheson29, Instagram, all the other ones. Just having fun with it. We've got our son, her son, my stepson involved. He won his Mini B class a couple of years ago. Just getting into the big class now. We got him on a KX 125, so we got a little two-stroke action going on. And like I said, just having a really, really good time with it, and just making it a family event.
Awesome. Well, that's the one thing I can definitely say we find everywhere. When we talk to people on the West Coast, we talk to people on the East Coast, even the ones that are centralized and a little bit more interesting, if you will, like the Meth 101 from last weekend, Mr. Cole Hensley. It definitely is always about the family, and that's great to hear. That it doesn't change. I think that's the one thing that, regardless of what series or what coast you're with, we probably got started doing this because of our dad, and if not, we're going to be the dad that's going to make sure our kids get into it and that it becomes a family affair, because it really does. I've noticed how much it's done for my family and for other families around here in Texas and a lot of the other states that I've been to. So it's great to hear that. As you said, 15 years and all that kinds of stuff. It's just in the pro class. Obviously, you've been doing it for longer than that. And you've got your whole family involved in it. So that's what I take away from all this, is that you guys have gotten so much stronger and so much, probably as a better family. You're more, through all this kind of crazy life that we live and all the throttle twisting that we do.
Oh, absolutely. It's like when we go away on the weekends, it's like that's almost like that's our family. Our JDay family is what we call it, and it's true. Everybody's there, and everybody comes from all over New England, and just Johnny's brought us all together, and just to have a good time, and that's what it's all about. Hell
yeah! Well, that's definitely. I know we could take that for every single series. So we definitely thank you for coming on the show tonight. I know we did have a little bit of a technical difficulty getting everything set up, but the good thing is now we know. So next time we have you on, when you talk about how badass you are, when you're a little bit older, but you're still wiser than me, it'll be much smoother, right?
Oh, absolutely. We got it all figured out now. And what's funny is that I'm using my phone out of all this computer stuff around me. I made it work.
We're gonna have to write Google an email and say thanks for what you do. You connect crazy ass bitches like us, and it's a good time.
Exactly.
Cool, man. Well, yeah, definitely. Keep us in touch with everything that's been going on with you guys. Shoot us an email again if you could, and give me your address. I want to send you some seat time swag for being on the show, and definitely thank you very much for your time and for all your great info, man. We learned a lot about JDay, and I'm excited for it. So thank you.
No problem. No problem at all.
All right. Well, you have a good evening, and we'll talk to you soon, okay?
All right. Sounds good.
Later, Bob Rippa.
Later.
All right. That was awesome. We got a lot of stuff tonight from Mr. Bob Santham. One of the things, it seems like we've had trouble connecting with Josh. That's okay. We've got plenty more times this year to get everything set up. But before we go ahead and close up the show, I just wanted to say a big shout out to Fast Company. If you guys don't know about Fast Company and what they're doing in the motorcycle industry, you definitely want to check it out and learn more about them. Fastco.com. So FASSTCO.com is where you can go to their website to learn more about them. But you don't just have to go to their website. They're all over. You can like them on Facebook. You can shoot them up on Twitter. You can find them on Instagram. But if nothing else, what you want to do is you want to get on their website, get their phone number, and call them. because that's the best way to learn more about Fast Company. They are not just making dirt bike products. They make a specific amount of products that they know benefit to having a better enjoyment on the dirt bike. Again, I mentioned them earlier. 2 of those products are the Flex handlebars. I run them after my shoulder surgery, and I unfortunately only started riding them very recently after my surgery. Now that I am riding with them, I wish that I would have bought them a long time ago. I was one of the people that had the ignorance to say, oh, flex bars, who wants their bars to flex? Literally, that's what I thought. And I know a lot of other people who have said the exact same thing to me. Don't have that opinion. Call them, email them, talk to them, and at least ask questions. I promise you they're going to have answers for you that are at least make you rethink kind of the way that you do feel about those if you're not completely sold on the idea. Again, one of the other products that I love, opposed to having to try to use my wrench as a tuning fork, is the spoke torque wrench. That has saved a lot of time and a lot of angst and a lot of questioning on if my spoke tension is correct. So those guys are a great company. They're great dudes. Love hanging out with them. They invited us to their friends at Fast Ride back in November. We had so much fun doing that, and I'm sure if you start running their products and you give them a call and be like, yo, can we come? Yes, you can. I'm pretty sure you don't even have to run their products. If you just hit them up and be like, yo, I want to come to your friends at Fast Ride, you'll be able to go out there and ride with them guys. So thank you so much to Fast Company for their support of Seat Time. We really, really appreciate it. Before we totally leave you guys, I want to mention again, I know Steven was looking for a picture and he found it. If you could bring up the tank picture that you had, Steven, this would be a good time. So we have 2 days left on this. What we're doing is we've got this tank top. It's keep calm and brap on is the way as you should. And with that, we're just trying to raise a little bit more money for Seat Time. This is specifically for credit card debt. What you see in the background with the studio and some of the new equipment that we had to buy, it's unfortunate. There's just no way for us in the little realm that we take up to make a ton of money to put into this business. So we have to kind of make little items like this that we can sell, and this is Teespring as a way that we can fund little tiny ways to try to get some funding. So there is the tank. It's got the Seat Time logo, Keep Calm, Brap On. I specifically made it a tank top because I don't think people enjoy tank tops enough. If you're one of those guys who's like, I shouldn't be wearing a tank top. No, you definitely should. And anybody who thinks you shouldn't, you tell them to shut up because they're stupid. Tank tops are awesome. It's the only way you should enjoy summer. If you're not able to be in a tank top during the summer, you need to move somewhere where you should be in tank tops, some awesome Sanuk sandals, and maybe a couple pairs of fly racing board shorts. That's the way you should do it. So again, it's hard to bring up because we didn't get a chance to prep enough, but it's Teespring, teespring.com/seattime.brap or -brap, BRAAAP.
Kind of there.
Is it? It's kind of there?
Kind of.
Kind of. All right, so perfect. So sorry to make that so difficult for you guys. Again, 2 more days. And all we're looking to do is just make a little bit of extra money to help bring down the credit card costs so that we can get that to be a little bit more manageable. And then we can keep bringing you guys some fantastic shows. Thanks for tuning in. Again, sorry for the technical difficulties. We really enjoy pushing the boundaries and not just having a regular old audio podcast. I hope you guys get a lot out of the video. Again, bring us your comments, bring us your questions, bring us your thoughts. We want them. We want to know what's going to make the show better, what you liked about it, and what you don't. That's what we're talking about. Thanks for being in the chat room, everybody. This is Seat Time. You always enjoy a pint full of awesome. If you wonder where you can find more, seattime.co is the website. We are on Facebook, facebook.com/seattime. We are on Twitter. The handle is seattime_co. Of course, we're on Instagram. It's just regular old Seat Time. Keeping that one simple for you. And everywhere else, just remember to tag all your pictures, Pint Full of Awesome, with the hashtag, of course, Pint Full of Awesome, and be entered. Matt, Doug, good job. Congratulations on winning. We thank our sponsors, Fly Racing and Fast Company, for their support. Steven, thank you for being such a fantastic producer. Your beard's getting awesome. And I'm specifically doing this outro so weird for Ryan Kudla. So if you're listening, make sure you let me know you hear it. Thanks again, guys. We really appreciate it. We'll see you next week. Woo! Oh! It's going to be the pre-GNCC 2014 season, so it's going to be one not to miss. It's going to be awesome. Ride like a silly. Bye, guys.